The opposition slams the National Security Minister for insensitive comments. Minister Wayne Munro clears up those comments and marijuana legislation to be presented to Parliament soon. Good evening, everyone. I'm Leah Cooper with your JCN News for this Friday, April 1st. Free National Movement Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands was not short on words today when he spoke out on the National Security Minister Wayne Munro's comments yesterday as it relates to the sentencing of a 40-year-old man accused of unlawful sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old schoolgirl and impregnating her. Minister Munro on Thursday told reporters that the accused should have gotten a lesser sentence. Here's Laurencia Smith with that report.
Minister Wayne Munro coming under heavy criticisms for comments made to the media on Thursday regarding the controversy of what some would call a light sentence of 4 years in prison for a 40-year-old man accused of unlawful sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old schoolgirl. Minister Munro contends that the man should have received a lesser sentence because the victim consented to have sex, even though she's under the age of consent. While Free National Movement Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands was candid on Love 97 News Issues of the Day with host Christian Jones when he said that Wayne Munro QC has demonstrated that he is a consummate defense lawyer. Adding to that, Dr. Sands also commented on comments made by Acting Director of Public Prosecution Franklin Williamson, who told a local daily that we have a generation of highly sexualized young people. This the public view as victim blaming.
His utterances this week, when he had no problem outing a 14-year-old girl and suggesting that the penalty that a 40-year-old pedophile who had unlawful sexual conduct with her was too harsh. Certainly, what should parents, grandmothers, grandfathers, brothers and sisters feel? This 14-year-old girl now is subject to public humiliation.
The accused pleaded guilty to unlawful sexual intercourse in a plea deal. Minister Munro told reporters yesterday that if he was advising the accused, he would have not advised the client to agree to 4 years of unlawful sexual intercourse, as he stated that if the matter went to court, they would have said to the judge, he did not rape her, she consented. To that, Dr. Sands says this.
What message are we trying to send? Is the Minister of National Security the lawyer for the defense? Or is his role as a minister to protect the innocent, the vulnerable? It is absolutely repugnant, the language that he has chosen to use.
The Free National Movement chairman also have this question for members of the Progressive Liberal Party.
Whether Wayne Munro's comments are supported by the women of the Progressive Liberal Party, the cabinet ministers of the Progressive Liberal Party, the Prime Minister, and other members of the cabinet. You see, you may have personal opinions, but when you are a member of the cabinet, you do not speak for yourself. You speak for the government of the Bahamas. And so if the PLP is saying now that it's okay for a 14-year-old to be impregnated by a 40-year-old, and that she consented to it.
While former PLP Senator Robin Lyons, also commenting on the minister's comments on her social media page, says, quote, "Minister, our laws are designed to protect our children even from themselves," end quote. She further added that the minister's statements and material must be vehemently denounced. She notes that the society that we live in, perpetrators are indirectly being encouraged to get their victims to want it, and asks, what message are we sending? Mrs. Lyons says she waits a reaction in the interest of every right-thinking citizen of this country, adding that personal opinions must have no place in the administration and the enforcement of law. I'm Laurencia Smith for JCN News.
Thanks, Laurencia. Meantime, Free National Movement Deputy Leader Shannon Cartwright calling on the Prime Minister to urgently rein his National Security Minister in, chiming in on the commentary surrounding yesterday's comments by Minister Munro. Mr. Cartwright condemned the minister's comments, noting that that he joins, with all right-thinking Bahamians who are also condemning the utterances of the minister. In a statement, Mr. Cartwright notes that Minister Monroe's opinions on consent are repugnant and have no place in a civilized society. He adds that what the minister should be doing as a lawmaker is advocating for stronger laws to protect children and having a no-tolerance stance to those crimes. As the Minister of National Security, he says, as opposed to alerting child predators as to how they can beat the system. The F&M deputy leader says if the minister cannot advocate on behalf of protecting children and law-abiding citizens, then he should reconsider his current career choice. And National Security Minister Wayne Monroe, in a statement issued this afternoon, says he deeply regrets that his comments about a plea agreement taken by a 40-year-old man who impregnated a 14-year-old girl have caused concern. He says he gave several interviews in hopes that putting these 4 salient points together in one place can help the public to understand his position. 1, he says, quote, anyone who has sexual intercourse with a child under 16 is disordered. Point number 2 states that, quote, anyone who does so will go to prison. The only question is the length of their sentence. For his third point, he says, quote, sentence lengths for the offense in question are established by the Bahamas Court of Appeal. For a first-time offender, the sentence is 7 years if the young woman does not consent, and 4 years if the young woman does consent. The word consent, he says, is in the text of the relevant statute, with or without consent. And for his fourth and final point, Minister Monroe says, quote, plea agreements avoid court cases and thus help clear the backlog of cases in our justice system. Additionally, plea bargaining spares the victim from having to give evidence, thereby being forced to relive the trauma of the crime. He says the government is unified in wanting to send the clearest possible message to adults who would have sexual relationships with children under 16. Your behavior, he says, will land you in jail, no matter the child's behavior. Minister Monroe explains that when he provides his analysis of a legal matter, as he has done in recent interviews, he draws upon his decades of experience practicing law. But he wants Bahamians to be clear, it is this experience, that allows him to have a clear view of the path to successful law enforcement and prosecution. The goal in cases like these, he says, is to punish predatory behavior to deter others from engaging in such behavior. Prime Minister Philip Davis outlining the ways in which technology can transform the way we do business nationwide, speaking at a digital transformation symposium hosted by the Digital Transformation Unit on Thursday. The need for digital transformation and the strides already taken in the local digital evolution were highlighted. The Prime Minister adds that within the next 10 months, Bahamians can expect to see the National Identification System brought on stream by the phased distribution of digital national identity cards for Bahamian residents. Davis Strawn, project manager of the Digital Transformation Unit, details the purpose of the symposium and the overall goals of the DTU.
So what brings us here today is this is a high-level stakeholder symposium with government, and a number of the cabinet ministers, permanent secretaries, directors, executive chairmen with the various government boards are present and in attendance today to be made aware of the digital transformation and initiatives of the government as we embarked on the digital journey for the country.
And what do you feel is the next step in digitizing our country services?
So the next step for us is keep advancing our successes over the last 12 months. We've just passed our 12-month, our first year anniversary was February last month. So it's not been too long that we've been in existence, and we've already launched our website, the My Gateway platform, where you can now access government services digitally, and you can pay and receive those services as well in a digital form.
Having been an active body for just 1 year, the DTU has already made 46 government services digitally accessible, and according to Director Strawn, the DTU hopes to add some 200 paper-based services to the My Gateway platform, particularly for the Family Island residents. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.